Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of PB Plays, some visual novel that's free from Steam. Not that catchy of a name, but today we are playing something that's catchy, and that's Cupid, a visual novel. Last time we left off, I was a little screwed up with the time, and we would talk to Geum as Rosa. We talked to Geum, and we found out that, he can be a little not nice when he wants to be. At least to Rosa's surprise. So here we go with, which one of these are we going with? March, April, this one. Oh, that's right! And a scream pierced the halls of the chateau. It was Catherine. Geum sprinted to the door with Rosa, Geum sprinted to the door with Rosa not far behind. Okay. Back in the piano room, Catherine took a shaky step towards her sister. She wasn't moving at all. Blood dotted the ivory keys. I didn't. It was an accident. Emily? She was overcome with the urge to approach her sister and shake her awake, make sure she was okay, but it was a nasty fall. Emily? Catherine saw the way her sister's head snapped back as it collided with the sharp corner of the piano. She watched it like a series of photographs in her head. She had to check on her, but her feet refused to move. Instead, she began to retreat into a corner. She didn't even notice her legs were moving until her forehead touched the wall. She didn't want to turn around. Her sister was on the floor. Her eyes were still open, unblinking. Oh, whose voice is this? Generic female voice. It was an accident. It was nothing but an accident. Oh, this was Rosa. Okay. It was an accident. It was only an accident. Was it? She perched first. She got really scary. Oh, this is Catherine. She got really scary. She strangled me. What? That's absurd. Are you sure? Would she do that? I don't know. I think she did. Catherine touched her throat. It felt fine. That parade girl. Emily, is it? She really believes just because the Marquis took her in that he is interested in her? Well, she's obsessed with the master. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Wasn't her mother a bit, not right in the head? It probably runs in the family. Emily had looked mad. Her eyes had burned with malice for her as she had closed her fingers around Catherine's neck, but she couldn't remember if that had really happened. Sister was always kind to her. She would never hurt her, even when they got into fights. Sister loved her. Am I turning mad? I have the blood of a mad woman. Am I going to end up like her? I only told her the truth. Geum doesn't care for her, and she doesn't even care for him that much either. It was all just chaff, the relationship. No sense trying to make everyone else miserable too. But she called me jealous and a cunt. She's never called me a cunt. She said they had decided to send me away. My lessons sent home. The piano replaced. It was for my own good, she said. I don't have to travel here all the time. I can concentrate on my other endeavors. I can make new friends, but I know she just doesn't want me near the chateau or Geum. She hates it when I catch her with him. Perhaps this morning was the last straw? She hates it, but she also smirks at me when I see them. Like she basks in it. I think I might hate her. Catherine's thought ran through her head like a storm. They poured out of her aimlessly. I wonder if the piano is broken. Am I going to pay for it? What will become of us without sister's wages? What of father's medicine? What of my dreams? Sister can't be dead. Sister can't be dead! Catherine brought her fingers to her lips and nibbled on her thumb. She didn't notice this. Her mind was preoccupied. She was in the corner of the wall, biting her fingers. It was a tiny comfort in a rapidly collapsing world. Geum opened the door and found Emily lying on the floor. An ugly gash broke the skin of her forehead. Facing the wall was Catherine, shivering like a leaf, viciously devouring one of her fingernails. He approached her cautiously. Catherine. Rosa was out of breath, but was still able to let out a gasp at the scene. Emily's lifeless eyes stared up at her at nothing. Oh no. Emily's lifeless eyes stared up at nothing while Catherine pressed herself into a corner. What had happened when she left? Rosa, will you call for help, please? See that someone checks on Emily. Rosa did as she was told, but what she really wanted to do was hug Catherine herself. Geum took a small step towards her. He called out her name slowly, coaxingly. Catherine turned her head, her thumb still on her lower lip. The flesh was torn and a smudge of scarlet painted her teeth. It was an accident, I swear. Of course it was, Catherine. Of course it was. She pushed me first. She wanted to send me away. She wanted me gone. You can tell me about it later. Let me take you away from this room. What have I done? Catherine fell to her knees and wept. Large sobs sucked the air out of her. She felt like drowning, trying to keep herself afloat in between sobs. Every exhale was a squeezing pain in her lungs. She felt Geum's arms wrap around her. What have I done? What have I done? You didn't do anything, ma chérie. This is not your fault. There was a bitter bulge building up in her throat, and she felt that no amount of crying could push it back down. What am I going to do? Father is... Sister! I'm so scared. Geum's arms wound tighter around her, and she clutched onto his warmth in this vast sea of fear. You don't have to be. I will always be by your side. Catherine? I will take care of you and your father, all right? You don't have to worry about your future. Her tears soaked his shirt through, but the squeezing in her chest felt less painful. Why do you do this? Why do you care so much for me? Geum's brows furrowed as if confused that she even asked. I just do. It was a boldly stated fact, as if painfully obvious, as if Catherine was a fool for not knowing it. It made Catherine's heart expand in her ribs. When she looked back, she would recall that this is the moment she fell in love with him. God damn it! Stop it! Just stop. Oh my god. The look in his eyes was reassuring and strong. She wasn't alone. She was going to be all right. Let's get you away from here. He supported her arms and stood her up, careful to block the view of her sister from her eyes. He led her to the door. Catherine hated how fast her relief came. She was still drenched in sorrow at her sister's death. Her father would not take well to the news, especially in his health. But she was all right, and she hated it. Rosa was with her. She didn't have to leave her piano, her dreams, him. Nothing had to change. And most importantly, she hated the voice that came whispering in her head over and over again. Thank goodness she's dead. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. No audio cue in this one? Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, for fuck's sake! Here we go again. The first candle is lit. This candle is storage. The love for familiars. The cleanest love. Rosa stared at the blue candle glowing in her hand as she chanted. Rosa stared at the blue candle glowing in her hand as she chanted her spell. Trust is the veil that conceals and deceives. Trick his eyes and his heart with warmth from this candle's flame. Trick his eyes and his heart with the warmth from this candle's flame. A bond of blood like kin will be forged. Weave this trust so his tongue will yield that to what is sought. Rosa stood by Catherine's tomb, nursing memories of her. That's the memory that came up to you? That one? Really? That one? The time she killed her sister? Really? Oh my god. That's jarring. That hat is jarring. The soft wind lightly blew her hair. It reminded her of Catherine and her playful ways. Tears sprouted from her eye. Even the wind. Oh. Ooh. Console her. Or scold her. Console her. Yeah, let's be mean when it comes to Geum, but with her friends, let's be a little bit more lenient. Scold her seems too much. I'm always here, my love. Love will always hurt. But you love Mother the best, don't you? Yes, Mother. Then you are going to be fine. I will never leave you like Catherine did. Rosa? Guillaume's soft voice came from behind her. Rosa glanced at him in acknowledgement. He stood quietly beside her for a few moments, but ventured to speak. Have you thought about my offer? My house is always open for you. Remember that. I'm sorry for my outburst back then. It's nothing. The wind played around their feet, and Rosa pictured Catherine as part of the breeze, playful and free. She was free from the pain and confusion that had plagued her in her last days. They stood beside each other in solemn reverence. Finally, Rosa broke the silence. She was my family. I was in pain before she came along. I didn't know any better. She gave me hope. She was bright like a flame. When I close my eyes, I could still see the imprint of her light in the darkness. I can feel her warmth. A star. They didn't speak again for some time. Guillaume cleared his throat. I was an I was an orphan too, much like you. I know what it feels like to lose too much. I wandered for a long time before I found anything to live for. Were you alone? Sometimes. Not always. Oh god. Oh my god. That was jarring. Apparently, right click brings you to this string. Rosa nodded. Did you have family? Guillaume shifted uncomfortably. No, they, left me behind. I never knew them. Much of my memory of it is blurred. I was taken in by kind people once before, but... Guillaume sighed, and Rosa observed a certain disquiet in him. I didn't belong. But you have no difficulty mingling with people. I think of that as a necessity rather than a preference. But either way, it can be quite tiresome after a while. Things don't last. I don't know why I'm telling you this. I'm making the mood worse. I'm sorry. I don't mind. Guillaume had never opened up to her about his past before, and it worried Rosa how little she actually knew about him. Anyway, would you like to go around town? I'd very much like to take you to some place more cheery. How about our favorite spot? Guillaume smiled with understanding. The pair traveled up a hill at the edge of the town. There, the view overlooked the quaint village. The sunset painted everything in the pink glow of dusk and of endings. It is always so beautiful here. They used to spend time in this grassy knoll, the three of them. It was their own little hideaway. Memories of the past crept up on every corner. The ghost of laughter echoed in the wind. Rosa touched the trunk of the small tree they had carved their names on. So many fond memories. Rosa, I want you to have this. Geum took Rosa's hand and placed an item in her palm. It was a simple silver locket. She looked up at him questioningly. I have had that for as long as I can remember. One of my remembrances of the past. I can't take this. You must. You need it more than I do. But it's old and the locket doesn't even open anymore. I don't know why I've held on to it for so long. I can't even remember how I came to have it. But it comforts me. Maybe it will have the same effect for you. This is your treasure, Geum. It feels wrong to take it. On the contrary, I believe you must have it. Call it a hunch or a feeling, an urge on my part. I'm not good with expressing sorrow or even giving comfort, but I want to do something, at least, for you. He closed his hand over hers, affirming the gift. It's yours. Please take it. You're wrong if you think I am letting you stay in the castle simply for Catherine's sake. I do it for my own accord. Let me do this for you, Rosa. We have been friends for quite a while. If you need to leave, at least stay until you feel ready to go. All right. But I will continue working in your household for my lodgings. You don't have to do that. I can raise your status to a lady. You can read and write now, and very well. I'm sure you will be more comfortable in a higher position. I have no need for a higher position, just free access to your library. You have come a long way from the shy girl back then, Rosa. Watching you grow has been a pleasure. Yes, the library is yours. They were quiet for a while, only conversing through looks, smiles, and tiny sighs. Rosa realized that she had been holding on to Geum's hand the whole time. She broke off from his hand, rather embarrassed. We should head back. You're right. It's getting quite late. Geum walked over to the carriage to get it ready. Excellent, child. Being a maid in his household will give you free access to the rooms. He trusts you completely. It seems that the candle worked. I guess so. Rosa looked at the silver necklace in her hand. She fiddled with it, trying to open the lock. I loathe that thing. I don't wish to accept any gift from that man. I wish you hadn't taken it. In any case, just leave it alone. Yes, Mother. Rosa slipped the necklace into her coat's pocket. Ooh, nonchalant. Achievement unlocked. The spell will start its effect in stages, gradually uncovering his true face. Fondness first, then trust. Familiarity. Rosa sighed. But was the spell necessary at all? Didn't she already have that with Geum? Rosa bit her lip, remembering the warmth of his hand. They had known each other for a long time. It was rather comforting to have someone to mourn with. However, Rosa did find it strange that Geum rarely even mentioned Catherine anymore. It was as if he was shedding her skin. It was like if he was shedding her off like skin. Again, the taste of blood in her throat resurfaced. The memory of the needles made her stomach lurch. Since her friend had died, the Marquis had begun spending all his hours locked in his office. He barely showed himself socially, rarely even attended meals. But they were casting a powerful spell, something that might harm Geum. What if he was, after all, innocent? She had years of good memories with him. What was she even expecting to find out? Exactly how could she live with the guilt of two dead friends? Rosa sighed. She cared for him. Despite all the suspicion, she knew that much. But Mother was adamant. 3 candles for 3 loves. A fitting curse for a man who frolics in love's domain. Storge, the love for familiars. Philia, the love for friends. And Eros, the love for lust. Open his heart with storage. Unmask him with philia. Strike him down with eros. Yet Rosa kept a fourth candle, one she had named Agape. Unconditional love. She didn't know whether she would ever use it. Mother, of course, would object. But just in case arrows successfully struck Geum, she wished to light Agape. At least give him peace before. Rosa walked towards Geum, a pang of anxiousness biting at her. Rise, my daughter. The work lays ahead. To bring him down, we must find his weakness. Then we attack. His due punishment will be swift, my dear daughter. Do it for Mother. And that's where we're stopping it for today. Thank you guys for watching. That was interesting. I don't know how I feel about this romance thing. If it's not based on some sort of magic, I think I'm going to be a little bit peeved at the end of this. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to be nice to each other. Don't forget to be compassionate. And I will see you guys in the next episode of Cupid, a visual novel. Bye.